In the world of medicine, some diagnoses just hit differently, and breast cancer is definitely one of them. It's a journey that's often filled with so much uncertainty, a ton of complex tests, and really critical decisions that, rest on the shoulders of doctors. But what if we could give those doctors a new, incredibly powerful tool? A tool that not only spots patterns humans might miss, but can also explain exactly how it reached its conclusion. Today, we're going to break down a scientific paper that explores just that, a new generation of AI that can diagnose cancer with amazing accuracy, and for the first time, really tell us why. This could solve one of the biggest challenges in healthcare today.
So to really get why this technology is such a big deal, we have to understand the sheer scale of the problem. This number right here, 2.3 million, that's how many women were diagnosed with breast cancer globally in just 1 year, 2022. It's a massive, staggering figure, and it really underscores the urgent need for the absolute best diagnostic tools we can get our hands on. Every single one of those cases deserves a diagnosis that's not just accurate, but also fast.
And that brings us to the really tough part of the conversation, the reality of human error. Even with the most dedicated doctors and the best training, making a diagnosis is incredibly complex and things can go wrong. According to the NIH, a huge majority, almost all, of bad diagnostic outcomes come down to human error. Now, this isn't about pointing fingers. It's about recognizing just how complicated it is to interpret all this medical data. And this is exactly the gap where technology could step in and literally save lives.
Okay, so how do we start to fix this? Well, this is where machine learning, or ML, comes into the lab. The best way to think about it is like a super-powered analyst. It can sift through thousands of patient data points, we're talking age, tumor size, genetic markers, you name it, and it finds these tiny, subtle patterns that are just incredibly difficult for the human eye to catch over and over again. And the results? They are seriously impressive. In this study, the model that really stood out was an algorithm called random forest. It basically works by getting opinions from lots of different decision makers, or trees, and then making a final call. And get this, it hit 89% accuracy in telling the difference between a malignant or a benign tumor. To give you some context, other studies have shown AIs like this actually outperforming human radiologists. The potential here is just massive. So an AI with nearly 90% accuracy sounds perfect, right? Problem solved? Well, not so fast. A doctor can't just take a prediction at face value, no matter how accurate it is. If the AI spits out the word malignant, the very next question from any doctor is going to be, why? For the longest time, AI didn't have a good answer to that question. And this gets us to what everybody in the field calls the black box problem. Picture this. A brilliant chef makes the most incredible dish you have ever tasted in your life. You're blown away, and you ask for the recipe, but they just won't give it to you. You can enjoy the amazing result, but you can't learn from it, you can't replicate it, and you can't really fully trust it. That's been the problem with so many of these powerful AI models. They give you an answer, but the process of how they got there is a total mystery. This slide makes that disconnect totally clear. On the left, you've got a doctor's reasoning. It's transparent. They can walk you right through the patient's history, the lab results, the biopsy, and explain exactly how they came to their conclusion. But on the right, you have the AI's black box. Data goes in, a diagnosis comes out, but that whole middle section, it's just a big question mark. And for doctors to ever truly adopt this technology, we have got to fill in that blank. So how do we crack open that black box? Well, the solution is a truly revolutionary field called Explainable AI, or XAI for short. This is the big breakthrough. It's the key that doesn't just give us the answer, but finally gives us the recipe too. It's designed for one specific purpose, to make these complex AI systems totally transparent and understandable to us humans. So what is XAI, really? Put simply, it's like a set of tools that act as a translator for the AI. It dives into all the complicated math happening inside the model and pulls out insights a doctor can actually understand and use. It's all about building that bridge of trust between human expertise and machine intelligence. Let me show you how it works in practice. It's basically a 3-step process. First, the powerful machine learning model does its thing. It makes a prediction, let's say malignant. Then, the XAI layer immediately kicks in. It analyzes which pieces of data, which factors, had the biggest impact on that final decision. And finally, it serves up those reasons in plain English, something like, this prediction was based mainly on the tumor's large size and the patient's age. Simple as that. And this is exactly what the researchers found when they pointed XAI at their model. The AI wasn't looking at some random obscure data points. It was consistently zeroing in on the same critical factors that human doctors do. The XAI tool showed that the three biggest drivers for a malignant diagnosis were a larger tumor, involved lymph nodes, and the patient's age. This is so important because aligning with existing medical knowledge is the key to building trust. Now, to be absolutely sure they were on the right track, the researchers went a step further. They didn't just trust the XAI alone. They used two other, more traditional methods, standard statistical tests and something called mutual information, to also find the most important factors. And look at this, three completely different ways of looking at the data, all pointed to the exact same three critical features. This kind of cross-validation is powerful stuff. It gives us huge confidence that the AI is really focusing on what matters. So, what does this all mean for the future of medicine? We are really talking about a fundamental shift in how we think about diagnosis. This isn't about an AI replacing a doctor. Not at all. It's about giving them a powerful assistant, a tool that can help cut down on errors, speed up the whole process, and give both doctors and their patients way more confidence in the treatment plan. And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. This quote from the authors of the study really says it all. The whole point is to create these interpretable algorithms, AIs that we can understand, that act as a co-pilot for doctors. By showing them the key risk factors for each specific patient, XAI can help doctors make better, more personalized decisions. And that means better care for everyone. When you step back, this research really points to a profound change on the horizon. We're finally moving away from this idea of AI as some mysterious, unknowable black box. Instead, we're heading towards a future where it's a trusted, transparent partner in the exam room. A true collaboration, where the incredible experience of a human doctor is boosted by the analytical power of a machine that can just find the answer, but can actually show its work.